What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Leo coming to you guys with yet another video coming to you guys today with another reaction. 10 best WWE matches of 2023. I think after this, I don't know if they're going to have anything for 2024 as of right now since 2024 is still in effect. But maybe they'll probably put up something, at least for the matches so far. Outside of that, maybe I'll go back and down memory lane from some of the years that I missed, like 2013 and up. Um, and then if not, I'll try to add some AEW stuff in here. Like maybe they'll have a list of best AEW matches for each year. We'll do that. Um, but we're gonna get into this video. I know there's gonna be a lot of great matches that happened in 2023. I think one of my favorite matches would have to be like the triple threat with Gunther, Drew, and Sheamus at WrestleMania 39. The Cody and Roman match was really good. Um, there was a lot of good matches that I was into during the year of 2023. So let's go down memory lane and see what matches Coldaholic deems best of 2023.
There is no such thing as a normal year in wrestling, but 2023 was one of the craziest of recent times, and that was just in one company. In WWE, Vince McMahon forced his way back onto the board of directors, CM Punk returned, the company was sold and merged with the UFC, and several championship records were obliterated. It's easy to forget that in the middle of all this chaos, there were some incredible wrestling matches going on. Luckily for you, that's why we're here. Well, that and knob jokes. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 best WWE matches of 2023. Join us! Number 10, Gunther vs. Chad Gable on Raw. I don't know much about China.
Chad Gable and Gunther always just had great chemistry, and it sucked. Like if you look at the feud that they had, I think a lot of people were clamoring for Chad Gable to be the one to dethrone Gunther's IC title reign. And I think it would have helped elevate him to the next level, which a lot of people were, chomping at the bit to see someone like him be able to accomplish that and be able to be propelled up the card. And it just seemed like it just never happened. I think the reason why a lot of times he didn't win is because they wanted to have Gunther break that record, and once he did, it seemed like they just chose not to, and they just pivoted to someone else. And then I think I was at Raw in when they had the gauntlet match to determine who's going to be the number one contender, and I would say the vast majority, like over 50% of the crowd that was there in attendance wanted to see Chad Gable be the one to win, and unfortunately it ended up being Sami Zayn.
Chinese lunar cycles, but I'm pretty sure that if you check the charts for 2023, then they would tell you it was the year of the giant Austrian man. Gunther had a fantastic 2023, spending all of it as Intercontinental Champion and putting on some banging matches over the workhorse belt. In the eyes of many, his greatest rival all year was someone who he didn't even fight on pay-per-view, the equally talented Chad Gable. The leader of Alpha Academy became the first man to beat the champion on the main roster, although only via countout, which set up this title match for the September 4th episode of Raw. It wasn't an epic or anything, clocking in at just 10 minutes, but goodness gracious me, what a 10 minutes they were. Gable gave this everything he had, countering the obvious size difference with his technical ability and ungodly strength. In the end, after a barrage of finishes, the champion retained, but the challenger had earned everyone's respect. The in-ring action was good and all, but the best part was when Gunther made Gable's kid cry at ringside. Isn't that what wrestling's really all about? Number 9, Bad Bunny vs. Damian Priest at Backlash. The idea of a rapper having one of the best matches of the year would be enough to make certain corners of the wrestling community see red with rage, but that is exactly what happened when Bad Bunny took on Damian Priest at Backlash 2023. Priest had actually been Bunny's way into WWE as the two had teamed together at WrestleMania 37, but since then, the Archer of Infamy had gone rogue, joined up with the Judgment Day.
When they had this match, it really made the WWE see Damian Priest in a different light that they haven't seen from him in quite some time. So this really allowed him to take that next step in his career, and it allowed him to go on to become Mr. Moneybank, to go on to become world champion, to go on to be what he is now.
day and discovered a passion for dark eye makeup. This all led to a San Juan street fight in Puerto Rico, a place close to both men's hearts. The Grammy winner had impressed during the tag match 2 years ago, but was he ready to go it alone? Yes. Yes, he was. I say he went it alone, but this match featured levels of interference not seen since the Attitude Era. The Judgment Day, the LWO, Carlito, Savio frickin' Vega, they all got involved, resulting in the most wonderful carnage. Bunny more than held his own, taking some seriously impressive bumps for a non-wrestler before striking the Destroyer to pin Priest in front of an electric hometown crowd. Number 8, Brock Lesnar vs Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. The night after WrestleMania 39, Brock Lesnar turned heel by attacking Cody Rhodes. Why did he do this? Because, well, maybe it was, no, I have no idea. Not only did WWE not give a proper reason for Lesnar.
And it's not the problem that people had a problem with them feuding. It's just the way they did it. Like, the fact that you had, it looked like they were teaming up, and then his whole motivation is because Cody got the main event over Brock Lesnar, when we know if it was in reality, Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, so of course he was going to possibly main event.
Betrayal, but they also stretched this rivalry out for 4 months. Just when everybody was ready to give up on the whole thing, the two had a great match at SummerSlam. Typical. The pair's third and final pay-per-view encounter was all about resilience. Lesnar repeatedly battered Cody, attempting to win via countout several times. However, driven by the power of truth, justice, and neck tattoos, Rhodes kept getting back up, much to the Beast's dismay. All of this meant that when Cody eventually started his comeback, the crowd were in the palm of his hand. He slowly but surely got the better of his opponent, even trapping him in his own Kimura lock, but finally overcame Lesnar with not 1, not 2, not 4, but 3 crossroads. If anyone needed any reassurance that the American Nightmare was the top babyface in all of WWE, then this match did the job and then some. Also, Lesnar's shorts fell apart, which was funny.
Yeah.
Number 7.
And this was the last time we saw Brock Lesnar. Up until this is the last time we see him.
I knew I was underwater. I just didn't realize I was this underwater.
Carmelo Hayes vs Ilya Dragunov at No Mercy. We're including NXT here because, to be honest, this match was so bloody good it's impossible to ignore. As NXT No Mercy, which also saw a fantastic women's title match between Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton, Carmelo Hayes put his NXT Men's Championship on the line against Ilya Dragunov. Dragunov had failed to take the title from Hayes at the Great American Bash, but had come tantalizingly close. Now he would fight for the title, having got the measure of his opponent, which Carmelo was absolutely terrified by. Both men's natural talent and strong characters basically made it impossible for them to have a bad match, and this was no exception. Fantastic athleticism, great facials, and then some brutally hard-hitting offense kept the NXT faithful on the edge of their seats until the challenger drilled the champion with an H-bomb to finally win the big one. Bad luck, Carmelo, but hey, you can't win them all. Hey, at least you didn't eventually take out all your frustrations on your best friend Trick. Carmelo, wait! No! Number 6, Becky Lynch vs Trish Stratus at Payback. Did anybody have Trish Stratus makes pretty much a full-time return to wrestling and has one of the...
I don't think people had that on their bingo card. And they did have a decent match. I still kind of feel iffy about it, only because I feel like they could have potentially added their match to SummerSlam that year. But unfortunately, they didn't. But it is what it is.
Best feuds of the year on their 2023 bingo cards. Wait, you did? Wow, you guys are good at this. Following her teaming and eventual betrayal of Becky Lynch, the Hall of Famer made the man's life a living hell, constantly costing her matches and even beating her at Night of Champions with help from her new minion, Zoe Stark. By the time Payback rolled around, Lynch had had enough, so the two icons of their respective generations were booked to settle their differences in the time-honored tradition of a steel cage match. This match was everything it needed to be. Athletic, dramatic, full of crowd-popping spots like a cage-assisted superplex. That'll teach WWE Creative to bump them off the SummerSlam card, eh? Lynch finally picked up the win after an absolute war, exorcising the demon that had been plaguing her for so long. As for Trish, this was the last fans would see of her for the year, but she had done more than enough great work over the course of this comeback to leave everyone thoroughly stratisfied. Number 5, The Usos versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa at Money in the Bank. The Bloodline story wasn't always perfect.
It's got to be on the list. I mean, you had the Usos turn against the Roman Reigns. I mean, and this is where we're starting to see the seeds be planted for the downfall of the Bloodline. We're seeing the rise of Jey Uso after the year that he's had, it seemed, and then the Usos being pretty much disowned by Roman Reigns after losing the tag titles at WrestleMania and seeing them in a different light, and it created for some great television, and it created for a great match that they put on at Money in the Bank.
Perfect in 2023. Did somebody say tribal combat? But when it was good, it was unlike anything else. After years of gaslighting, manipulation, and bullying at the hands of their cousin, Jimmy and Jey Uso broke away from Roman Reigns' control, leaving their other brother Solo Sikoa caught in the middle. It was announced that at Money in the Bank, the Usos would take on Reigns and Sikoa in a match with an amazing subtitle: Bloodline Civil War. Oh, I just got chills. All 4 men involved in this titanic tussle were great wrestlers, but everything was elevated to new heights due to the context behind the moves. This felt like the culmination of so many different story strands, with callbacks to matches and moments as far back as 2020. The identical twins proved that blood is thicker than water, or in this case a different kind of blood, when they won the match, with Jey becoming the first person to pin Reigns since December 2019. Take that, Baron Corbin. An emotional climax worthy of such a grand stipulation. It's just a shame it all went to pot at the next premium live event. Number 4.
Hey, want to know how I got this $50,000 check for an accident I was involved in over 5 months ago? Look, if you...
Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber. Jimmy and Jey might...
This man was white hot. People wanted to see Sami Zayn be the one to take the title from Roman Reigns. People wanted to see that. Like, the story that they were telling, like, when he joined the Bloodline, it looked like he was it seemed like it wasn't gonna lead to anything, but when he became part of it, it breathed new life into the Bloodline storyline, because they weren't really doing much, and it seemed like it was starting to become stale, but he breathed new life into it for people to continue to keep buying into what they were doing with the Bloodline, and he added a great character and for the Bloodline for sure. And then, over time, it just seemed like it was just bound to happen. And then, you had Sami and Jey were the ones that didn't, well, at least for Jey, didn't really like Sami. And then him coming around to it by earning the trust of everybody involved in the Bloodline and becoming a full-fledged member to an extent, at least like an honorary Us, pretty much what he was.
Might have been the ones to beat Reigns, but the first member of the Bloodline to break away from the group was the least Samoan man of all time, Sami Zayn. Throughout 2022, Sami had slowly gained the trust of the group before finally being accepted into the fold. That all changed when the Bloodline set their sights on Kevin Owens, Zayn's best friend, leading to an all-time great pay-per-view closing angle at Royal Rumble, where Sami struck the tribal chief in the back with a chair. The stage was set. At Elimination Chamber, which would take place in his hometown of Montreal, Canada, Zayn would challenge Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship, and this blockbuster announcement did not disappoint. Backed by a rabid crowd, Sami came within inches of victory multiple times. Ultimately, he was never gonna win, but the frizzy-haired superstar was so good that just for a second, he made us all believe. Reigns versus Zayn not only sort of rhymes, but it also delivered on the very best aspects of professional wrestling. This was a story of good against evil that made you forget that what you were watching was scripted. Number 3, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 39 Night 1.
Easily one of the best matches of WrestleMania 39. This helped Rhea Ripley take the next step in her career, like the rise that she's had since joining the Judgment up until this point. Her win the Royal Rumble, which people were expecting, myself included. And it just elevated her to the next level, facing a rival of hers. And on top of that, they do have great chemistry. Go back and watch their match at WrestleMania 36. I know people don't really go back and watch it, but this was one of the better matches that they did have, especially on over both nights for sure. And the fact that we're reliving that again, and it seemed like Charlotte was always that one that always got the upper hand over Rhea Ripley, and now the tides have turned and she got the upper hand over Charlotte.
At WrestleMania 36, Charlotte Flair cashed in a Royal Rumble victory on NXT Women's Champion Rhea Ripley, winning the belt and denting the young Aussie's momentum. 3 years on, Ripley, who had joined Damian Priest in the Eyeliner and Black Leather Club, won her own Rumble and used it to get some revenge. The Eradicator was good back in 2020, but had come a long way in a short space of time. As for the Queen, as annoying as she can be, she's also a bloody good wrestler. All of these ingredients came together to make a hearty stew of a match with big chunks of history floating in it and a side order of amazing wrestling. I think the food metaphor may have gotten away from me there, but you get what I'm saying, right? Both competitors had desire in their eyes for the entire stretch, laying each other out with big move after big move, constantly fighting to get back up and take the next one. It took a top rope riptide to finally keep Flair down for the count, as Ripley not only picked up the SmackDown Women's Championship, but also asserted herself as the force in WWE's women's division. Number 2, the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
If you ever tried asking questions to ChatGPT for research,
this just showed that
in a WrestleMania 39 night.
This just showed tag team wrestling can really be something really special in the WWE if given the type of time to be invested, given the characters involved, and everything like that. And we were already kind of seeing the seeds be planted to where when Sami broke away, that it was going to probably be Sami and Kevin getting back together at some point to go up against the Usos for the tag team titles. So, I really did like it, and then it kind of set the scene that if the Usos lost, Roman could lose too, and I think that made a great moment.
Night 1. For the first time since the very first one back in 1985, WrestleMania was main evented by a tag team match. And this time, none of the participants had been in a Snickers commercial, although there is still time. Following his loss at Elimination Chamber, Sami Zayn managed to patch things up with his old pal Kevin Owens and reunite their team, challenging Roman's cousins, the Usos, for the undisputed tag team titles. Jimmy and Jay had been tag champs in some form or another for over 600 days, so that record was also on the line, as well as the stability of the bloodline. If Owens and Zayn could win, they would strike a major blow against the family unit. With so much history between all 4 men, particularly Sami and Jay, these sculptors of violence had plenty of clay from which to mold. The Mania 39 crowd hung on every second of action, cheering their heroes when they were on the offensive, wincing in horror when it looked like they might lose, but ultimately leaving happy when Zayn pinned Jay to seal the deal. I pity the fool that doesn't like this match. Number 1, Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 39 night.
Has to be like all 3 of these guys have great chemistry. We know Drew and Sheamus have great chemistry going back to the match that they had at Fastlane in 2021. We know Gunther and Sheamus have history and have a great chemistry going back to Clash at the Castle. So now you're having all 3 of these guys who have history in some form or another. It just made for a great match. This literally is my favorite match from 2023.
2. WrestleMania Night 1's main event was good and all, but it was blown out of the water by another match around 24 hours later. Intercontinental Champion Gunther had famously retained over Sheamus in a great match at 2022's Clash at the Castle. At WrestleMania 39, Sheamus looked to right the wrongs of Cardiff and finally claim the belt, but he encountered resistance from an unlikely source. Shamu's old buddy Drew McIntyre had added himself into the mix, making the Mania match a triple triple threat. The Great White was understandably miffed at having to share the spotlight, which set the scene for something truly special. With more interpersonal drama than an entire decade of EastEnders, this bout featured so much big meaty men slapping meat that it must have made Big E weak at the knees. Hard chops, brutal clotheslines, finishes that could have stunned a hippopotamus. If you like your
that had to be on there. It just Pierce, it was an instant class. I recommend anybody, if you guys are new to wrestling or haven't really watched wrestling for so long, you want a match to really sink your teeth into, go watch this match from WrestleMania 39, Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. You will have a great time watching this match for sure. But comment down below, let me know what are your favorite matches from 2023. If they were on this list, let me know why they were some of your favorite matches. And if they weren't, let me know what match you feel like should have been on this list that wasn't, and why you feel like it should be. I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. We're on the road to 300 subscribers, but the ultimate goal is 10K. When I do hit 10K, I will do a giveaway with one of my lucky subscribers. We'll have the opportunity to win a WWE Championship from WWE Shop. So if you want to be a part of that and potentially be the subscriber that does win, go subscribe to my channel. It's absolutely free. You can always change your mind in the future. But why would you want to do that? I'm trying to give you guys daily wrestling content. The grind does not stop. I will probably be live later on today for none other than episode 2 of the Vince McMahon documentary series. So stay tuned for that. But super kick that like button, helps my channel get pushed across the platform so more people can see what I'm doing here on YouTube. Superman posts that post notification bell so every time I post a new video, whether it's a reaction video, rant video, live stream, you can be in the loop of things when I do drop a video. And spear the subscribe button. It takes 3 seconds out of your day to do those 3 things for me. Helps in the progression of my channel. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope everybody has a great day, a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next